I was trying to get in, see if we could get some a good clip out of that, but Victor noticed.
I sure did. I sure did.
You know why I can't find those cog tags, Victor?
I was trying to get in.
Why is that? Shut up, YouTube.
Probably because I did not buy that collector's edition that came with new cog tags. So the universe is like, yeah, guess what happened to you?
Well, since you mentioned it now going into live, and we'll definitely stop for a proper intro. If it makes you feel any better, I recently couldn't find mine until we realized where the heck it is, and I probably could just pull them out now after finding them, but in solidarity, I will not do
Careful, Victor. With the conversation John was having before the cast, he might want you to pull something else out, so just be careful.
But
just sit back.
Yeah,
no context, proper intro. Let's do it.
Welcome to Collector's Hideout, the podcast where we get together and talk shit about random topics pertaining to the different fandoms, nerd world, pop culture, whatever you want to say, movies, comics, sometimes wrestling, horror movies in general. But this evening, anybody who's been watching for a while sees that KidMachinate is here, which means we're most likely talking video games. And we are. By the request of Psycho. And this is what we're going to do. He's got some interesting news about Gears of War, because I'll go by the title of this episode. Who gives a shit? Nobody wants it, but we'll see. We will see. That being said, Psycho, thanks for joining us this evening, as always.
Absolutely.
Kid, appreciate you coming in, filling in, and bringing your wisdom and your godlike knowledge of video games to our followers.
Thank you. Much appreciated. From what I heard just before this, we were going to have one other person, but I guess they pulled the usual potential shenanigans.
I don't know, but maybe his wrath caught a flat. I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, no,
we shall see if he shows up.
I'm not sure. He never texts me back. He's like, "Oh, I'll let you know one way or the other," and nothing.
So, good.
Well, okay. So before we get started, because we're not going to spend the entire show on this, but I want to talk again about the last video game topic we discussed with Sony going all digital, because more has come out since then, and I think that we can mention a couple of things and then move into our title. Our title piece. So
I don't know. All I know is that we're not even like 3 minutes in. There's already a cat in the cast. So,
I mean, that should surprise you.
I mean, a little bit. Usually, it's about 45 in before we start seeing Tony's cat's butthole. We're like 3 minutes in, and Victor's cat's already here. So it's a little early.
That's the opposite of what we were talking about taking out earlier.
So. From my understanding, is that Xbox has come out and said that they are going to stick to physical media, that they're not going all digital.
Yes, but I mean, they've gone even farther than that, which I think is pretty interesting. So before I say that, I want to get into some background here. If you haven't been paying attention, a few weeks ago, Sony came out and said that they would be pursuing an all-digital future with their next console generation, and that they would not be manufacturing any disc-based games, nor would their system play any disc-based games, because they will not be including a disc drive on their new console, nor will they be making available an accessory disc drive that you could plug in. They will lock their console to strictly digital, period, right? And Victor and I have talked about this several times, both on the cast and then outside the cast. And I was kind of curious to see.
Hold on. I just want to make sure, because obviously I don't follow the full world of the systems. But don't they currently offer like a version of the PlayStation 5 or whatever the hell without a disc drive that is straight digital?
Yes.
Okay.
And they've done that from the beginning. And the disc drive version costs more.
From the beginning, not since they didn't do it PlayStation 1.
No. But from the beginning of PlayStation 5, you could buy disc-based or digital. And of course, the disc-based version is going to be more expensive, right?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? A new name for me, Blue Full Boosting. What's going on? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm clarifying that it's me. Last time I was on here, you had me plug stuff, and I forgot I was on my alt account. So whoops, it's me. No one knew. Nothing to see here. Moving on.
So
I thought we had a new viewer. God damn it, you schmuck. So go ahead.
When Victor and I, no, Joe, we're just kind of mentioning some things before we move into the topic at large that we're going over. So Victor and I have discussed this since then, and I told him that I'm curious what Xbox says, because everybody just assumed that Xbox was going to go right along with PlayStation and say that their next console will be discless as well. But a couple of days ago,
Walter Peck.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
A couple of days ago, some internal memos leaked from Microsoft saying that they are going to kind of rally around this disc issue, and that they are going to kind of campaign hard for physical media, and that they're hoping to use this to regain some of the market share.
So I've been thinking about this, right?
Yeah.
And as Joe says right here, even though, just an example, I played the Borderlands games, right? But I have to download and load this game in, right? So it's still digital. I just have a disc also, but I still need it digitally to be able to play it.
Yeah.
It's not being played off the disc. And aren't majority of games like that now? You have to load them in. Like you're not playing directly from the disc anymore. Like that hasn't been a thing in a few, generations of the systems. Am I accurate on this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that they started doing it kind of towards the tail end of the PS4 and the Xbox One era, where they were requiring you to download the whole game, and then the disc would just allow you to get into the game.
Right. So, I mean, at that point, I guess who gives a fuck? As Joe, we just accept it because that's what we've been doing. They're just going to take away the key to it. You just have to download it, right? I mean, okay, just make sure I'm on the right page.
Yeah,
so it's something we've been doing. It's nothing new.
But there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it now, right? Because people are upset, as we discussed in the last podcast. And again, I don't want to get us bogged down into one thing, because we definitely are going to talk Gears of War. But remember, Sony announces this, and then they take away a bunch of movies they said they'd never take away. They do all this stuff, and so people are now more concerned and up in arms than they have before. Regardless, Victor and I were talking the other night. And while we were kind of bouncing ideas off of one another for a good video game podcast, I told him, I'm like, I think that Sony's going to rebound, right? If Microsoft starts getting some traction, saying that they're going to go and support physical, I think that Sony's going to say, oh, you know what? We've listened to the fans. We're going to reconsider, at least for this next console generation. We are going to allow physical media, blah, blah, blah. And Victor's like, no, they're not. And I was like, what are you talking about, Victor? And he's all, to paraphrase him, that Sony is in their sore winner phase, right? Their sore winner era.
Right. Yeah, you and I discussed that also. I said the same thing. I said Sony has too much of an ego that they're going to think they're ahead of the game. And they're the only ones doing it because they're better. That's why they're doing it. Well, and they won't fucking do that.
I wanted to tell Victor and I guess apparently you that apparently you both are right. And I was giving Sony way too much credit for listening to the fans when the fans like, hey, we're not going to accept this, because Sony is now placing advisory stickers on PlayStation 5 consoles at stores, warning players that physical games will soon be discontinued, including games moving forward on the PS5, even if you have a disc-based console. So, like, Sony's not only just saying, guess what, guys? No physical media for the next console. We're affixing stickers to our current console telling you it's over.
Right.
So
here's the thing, because we said we were going to be brief and we're not. So trying to be less or more brief, right?
yeah.
My whole thing is they had a shareholder meeting because, that's who these companies actually care about.
Yeah.
They had a shareholder meeting where they basically said to the shareholders, we hear the backlash, but we don't care. And we're going to keep going with the plan that we have. And that's it. And it's interesting because, as John here now says, he was giving Sony too much credit, which I agree with, because normally he's on the Sony hate train. And anyone that knows, when we both get in the same podcast, that's usually where things are. But I firmly boarded the thing myself, because Sony's actually pulled off something very special here.
Oh, God.
They pulled off something miraculous.
What the hell's going on?
They managed to become who they went against, being Xbox. Now they're doing the old digital thing that people hated years ago, right? But the reason they're so spectacular is because they also now, evidently, are going to do what Nintendo does and offer physical games by making a plastic box with a fucking code in it. So they managed to copy the entire competition.
Yeah. And so
y'all were buying this shit, so they would no matter what.
The last thing that I wanted to bring up about this, before we move on to Gears of War, is what Microsoft has now been telling everybody that works in their gaming division. Their next Xbox console, which is currently codenamed Helix, right, is being designed for the type of backwards compatibility Microsoft says that we've never seen before in the history of gaming. So allegedly, they are going to...
It's going to play PlayStation 1 games?
No. So allegedly, the leaked Microsoft memo that went out to all of the publishers that make games for Xbox and Microsoft says that they are going to allow people to play their Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and Xbox Series games disc-based on the next console when it comes out. So if you have an Xbox game from the original Xbox that's not digitally backwards compatible, but you still have that disc because it was your favorite game and you're hanging on to it, you'll be able to pop that in the next Xbox console and you can play it directly from the disc. You don't need to download anything. You don't have to do anything. Exactly. So Predator Concrete Jungle now will allegedly work in the very next Xbox that comes out, because they are trying to do, they are trying to go so opposite of Sony. They're going to give you everything from the beginning.
So first, shout out to Joe for getting me this. Thank you, Joe. So what you're telling me is I might have to buy a fucking I don't want to buy a goddamn new system.
I mean, I never said that. I never said you have to buy anything. You don't.
I'd like to play Predator.
Just go buy yourself an original Xbox. It's cheaper. It'd be like $50.
That sounds big and bulky.
But yes, Microsoft is apparently doubling or tripling down, and they're going to let you go all the way back to the beginning. And they're also doing it as a celebration of the 25 years of Xbox gaming. But
I think they'd really be doubling down if they started re-releasing the original game so you could buy them again at retail.
I mean, that would be entertaining, yes.
Okay. So are we good on this Sony trying to fuck everybody and Psycho giving him credit and Victor praising it?
So I'd like to add one more thing. Did you say praising it?
You're praising
Did I hear that right?
Sony and their nonsense and telling people to fuck off. Well,
yeah, I mean, absolute sarcasm. But the thing is, like, they're always firmly going to be in their sore winter eras. And I lied. I guess I have two things. They recently ported the first two Black Ops games to modern consoles. Right?
Not happening.
They did this, and it's only digital. You cannot buy physical. People did so well. I don't remember the exact numbers, but the two ports did so well that they outsold the new Halo remaster that nobody asked for.
So they'll probably sell the new Gears that nobody asked for too. Then okay, cool.
Of course, the main point being is that we're going to keep buying digital anyway, so Sony has no reason to reverse their decision.
I mean, you really already are. You've been buying digital for years now because you have to put the disc in and download the damn game.
Yeah,
it just gave you access. So you're already buying digital just with extra steps.
That's the point. That's the point that was being made in chat. Yes.
Yeah, like it's the same thing, just extra steps. Like it's just they're getting rid of stuff. And what's coming down to is that obviously, and we'll get moved from here after this, is that you got the two aspects that people like to have physical shit, right? They like to just be able to hold something and they hold ownership. It's mine, even though in reality it's just the key. It's not the actual all that bullshit, right? But it's mine. And then at the same time, like we did with the movies, even though Joe pointed out, yeah, the movies weren't. They were not licensed by Sony. They were owned by others. But I can see the concern that, oh, well, if I download the game, I have it there, then Sony gets rid of it. Now I've spent money and I've lost money. Like the people who bought those movies and have now lost the movies. Which, if that's the case, Sony should just refund people for getting rid of the movies that they paid for. But, or if anything, make it a prorated. You watched it this many times and now you can get this much refund. Whatever. But Gears of War. Apparently there's a new Gears of War game coming.
There is.
Can you actually run?
I mean, you could run in every Gears of War game. It's called the Roadie Run.
Yeah, can you actually run?
You can run in every Gears of War game.
You can actually run now? Okay, cool.
The very short. So here's the thing. Since we started here, right? Since we started with the topical one.
Can you run?
Yes.
Okay.
The short answer is yes.
Well, to run, you have to squat to do it.
Yes.
Oh, fuck that game. That's bullshit. That's not running. That's like that's squatting quickly.
So moving. let me give more context to the answer.
Go ahead.
With the latest game, which I actually didn't realize until like yesterday, there was going to be an open beta for. And if we were going to talk about this, I didn't think it's where we were going to start with what John told me, but
I wasn't planning to start with the new one. I was planning to start with the first one.
Chris. It doesn't matter. Let me talk, damn it. The point is that I did actually go ahead and spend a bit of time with it so I would know what I'm talking about. So see, it helps to be prepared. But what Chris is ragging on is the roadie run. You have to hold the A button. You do kind of crouch as you're running, and your camera control while doing so is basically non-existent. Mm-hmm. The screen shakes a bit, and that's it. In the new game, for one, they changed how you do it. They became COD. Now you press the stick to run. But you have that like same movement going on, but you have full control of the camera this time around. So like you can move not just like in a straight line unless you let go of the button and just like roll side to side. Like, no, you can actually move in directions now. The movement is more modernized now.
Okay.
So the people that are used to stuff like wall bouncing are going to have to learn all that shit all over again in multiplayer.
So first, I didn't realize that there was a plan to talk about all the fucking games. You told me that, oh, there's a new Gears of War game coming out. I want to discuss that. I was like, all right, cool. We could talk about, I want to talk about game one. What the fuck?
Well, no, I want to talk the Gears saga leading up to the brand new game. That's the point. Like, here's where Gears is. Here's what the game is about. Like, That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, you never said that. So I would have denied this fucking no, I'm playing. So I'll put this in. You guys can go wherever you want, and I'll just put this in there, and I'll probably mention so the fucking the mechanics of that game suck ass. All right. I played, I guess, the first, probably the second one. John, try this game out. Suck. And it's because of the way I play games. I am very much the Leroy Jenkins. I just run in, kill some shit, run out. If I die, I die. Shit happens. You can't do that with Gears. And when I'm fighting aliens and shit, that's what I want to fucking do. So the game didn't allow me to do that. So fuck that game. I passed on it. It didn't. It didn't.
That's fair.
I mean, I can say I've been killing things in Gears of War for 20 years, so I'm not sure where the complication arises.
Oh, I'm sorry. You must not have heard anything I said. Continue with your boring conversation. Let's go.
I mean, Victor, how many times do we run in, do something stupid, and then run out?
I mean, look, this is the thing, because I always kind of got to be the neutral party to make sense out of these things. Regardless of opinion, which everyone has their right to, it was basically responsible for action games like cover shooting, stuff like that, like everything mimicked it afterwards. So
games like this. So look, I want to run, crouch first. Now I can get the fuck out of here. I want to run in and kill some shit.
Yeah, I mean it is limited. Like you can't. But that being said, the Gears that's now topical, you might enjoy more because of that. Like probably not. I wouldn't like hedge a bet on it, but you do get more of a sense of movement and being able to, as I would put it, rush people in the face and see what happens. Because like that's how you play games, and like I get that.
I just run in there. Batman stealth mode, fuck that. I'm running in and killing people. That's what I do.
I mean, yeah, I think it's funny as shit to run around as a box in Metal Gear, but for the most part, I'm shooting people when I get caught in that shit anyway. Like, I get it.
Just run in and take care of business.
So, and you literally don't need the stealth in a game like Assassin's Creed where they emphasize stealth because you just spam the counter button and win anyway.
The duck and cover? What the fuck am I ducking and covering for? I'm killing things. I don't even duck and cover. Oh. So wet.
So, the interesting thing about Gears of War E-Day, which is the new game coming out, for those of you that don't know a lot about it, is it's actually a prequel. And it's going to visit a story that we know a lot about, but we've never really spent much time in, right? So
unless you read the books.
I'm sorry?
Unless you read the books.
Yes, right? Unless you read the books. But I'm talking about game-wise. We have gotten, if I recall correctly, we have gotten some missions that go back to specific time points in E-Day, right? And again, so E-Day is a period of time in the Gears of War universe, Emergence Day, and that's when the Locusts actually came out and began their attack.
The origin story of stories that, if I'm not mistaken, goes back even further, because I think Judgment technically is before that.
I thought Psycho shut down for a second there. He was like in mid-thought and just like went quiet.
Well, because I'm trying to think of which games show that, and I know in Gears 3 we get a time, but I think even in Gears 3, when you go back and you do that one mission, it's been like a year or two after E-Day. It's not actually E-Day. And then we have that mission in Gears 4, I think it is, or Gears 5, where you go all the way back to the Pendulum Wars. So I'm trying to figure out, we may not have ever played any mission or any time point within what they consider E-Day.
I think that is accurate.
Because Gears 1 takes place 14 years after E-Day. So I was just, while I was talking, I was trying to think, had we ever experienced that? And I don't think that we have.
Okay.
So
obviously it's a prequel, right? And understandably so. What started it all, right? Is what we're getting.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, what you're getting, because I ain't getting it. Okay.
But it's one of the things that's interesting to me is in the trailer for E-Day, you have Marcus and you have Dom, which were the main characters of the original trilogy. But it also looks like you have Dom's older brother, but Dom's older brother should already be dead. If I remember correctly, Dom's older brother dies during the Pendulum Wars. So
we got a plot hole already. Game sucks.
Huge plot hole. Can't run. Fuck that game.
But so let's actually go back and talk about Gears 1. The first time that I played Gears 1, I played it with Jose. He brought his Xbox over to the house. Like, hey man, you got to try out this new game I got. And we played for hours that day. And then he came back the next day and we played for several more hours until we beat it. Right? And this was back in 2006. And that was the first Xbox game that I really, really enjoyed. And then I think if I remember correctly, I introduced the Gears of War games to Victor shortly after that.
Sure. Victor's not saying yes or no. You both got kind of stale.
No, it's accurate.
Okay.
Dropping an F in chat for Jose that could not be here with us.
Yeah. But anyway, so like from that very first game, I was hooked, and I was super excited for Gears 2 when it was announced. And at that point, I was in college up at UF, and Victor was also living there, and we both got Gears 2 day one, and we were playing the hell out of that. And then you go from, what was it, 2009, I think was Gears 2, and then 2011 or 2012 was Gears 3. So from 2006 to 2011, it was 5 years. We got 3 Gears of War games. And then the next Gears of War game was what, 2017, I think it was. So it was like 6 years later, and we got Gears 4. And the games were very, very good. They had their problems. They had their detractors. But as far as I was concerned, the story mode in the games was solid. The gameplay was good. And they were definitely games worth playing. And then we got to Gears 5. And Gears 5 just so desperately wanted to be something new and talked about that they made a lot of decisions. They made a lot of decisions that I think kind of went against what Gears of War was supposed to be, and kind of made the game, in my opinion, just crappy.
So for one, I do think Judgment came before 4.
Yes, it did. I was just talking about mainline games, but yes.
Fair enough. So for those who don't know, because like I don't know that we necessarily need to spend a ton of time on each of the games.
We don't.
But the first 3, right? The first 3 were focused on Delta Squad. This was peak Gears. This was Marcus, Dom, Baird, Cole, people no one loved from the games, and other supporting characters such as like Anya and the other chick I can't currently remember the name of.
Bernie or Sam?
Both of those.
Okay.
I was more so talking about Sam, but yes, Bernie's pretty important too, especially if you read the books like a nerd. Anyway, point is that this was peak Gears. In my personal opinion, I think John would agree, but like you could make the debate for 2 or 3 of like which one was like better.
Yep.
But this was when everybody that was into Gears loved the game. With 4, we switched in a similar manner that we did with the Halo games, where the studio changed entirely. And Rod Ferguson alongside Cliffy B was no longer a part of it. Rod Ferguson was, but he was part of a different group called the Coalition, because it was Epic Games back when they made games before they decided to do nothing but Fortnite. But fuck that game. So then they went into the new Gears games, right? So the new Gears games focus on a different squad, a new squad. Good comparison would be like the sequel trilogies for Star Wars, where they bring in a new group of people, and in some aspects, kind of take away from the original squad.
Yes.
Except, they don't just kill them off slowly and completely shit on them. They are still mentioned. They are still part of the story. They're just nowhere near the focus that they were, right?
Yeah.
So they're very different games. And I mostly agree that 4 was, good enough, serviceable, the equivalent to, again, comparing it to Star Wars, how like The Force Awakens was like A New Hope all over again. Like, okay, this is your fresh start for Gears. Cool. Then you have Gears 5, which this is the one we can give context to what John was saying about how they tried like different things. Personally, I think, in my personal opinion, JD, who is the son of Marcus Phoenix, I personally think he's annoying as shit. And I found Kate's story more interesting. So like my personal issue with Gears 5 wasn't the way they went, the direction they went with the story. I actually thought it was interesting that you had a character that was part of the main squad that actually had ties to the Locust, because that's how, spoiler alert for however old Gears 4 is, but like that's how that ends. You find out she has ties to the Locust, right? So that wasn't the problem. The problem was, and you can blame a lot of games on or pick on other games for this same issue, but they tried to toss open world aspects into Gears in Gears 5, and it just didn't work. The areas were mostly nothing, right? And ultimately you had to go on a linear path anyway to be able to continue the game, so why not just leave it the way it was?
Yes.
There was no real reason for that. The other big source of...
Well, hold on. Let's clarify before you continue. You could go exploring, right? And the benefit of exploring that they told you was you'd be able to find these ancient weapons, which were stronger, had more perks that you could use. And so, as you explored, you would find a weapon here or maybe a weapon there, and these weapons were very good. But then randomly, the game would take them all away from you without saying anything. So the game wouldn't tell you, oh, by the way, we're getting ready to take all your weapons away. And what sucks is in Gears, you can only hold so many weapons. So you get rid of weapons to hold the ancient weapons, which are better. But then when the game takes them away, you don't have any goddamn weapons. And it didn't tell you that it was going to take it away. You just go into the next mission, and it's like, where the hell is my weapon? Oh, the game took it away. Fantastic. So you do this extra exploring to get these weapons, and then the game takes back without saying anything, right? So that, in my opinion, that's what the bigger problem was of the open world aspects, because they said, hey, you should explore, you can find better weapons, but when you do that, it's going to end up screwing you over.
Well, just more reason to say Gear sucks. So, okay.
I mean, the other big like point with 5 specifically, and again these are like the newer ones, right? So with 5, you had a decision to make, and again, spoilers in advance for however old the game is, but like you had to make a decision, which regardless of my personal bias, right? You had to make a decision that a lot of people did not like. You either had to kill off literally the main character of the new squad, JD, the son of Marcus, which feels bad because it's the son of Marcus.
Yeah.
But
and you
because I found it
mother.
Right. So you have the choice to either kill him or this other guy, Dell, that's part of the squad also. Because I personally find JD insufferable, I fucking killed his ass, whatever. If that makes me a bad person, so be it. But the thing with making this decision is then what happens with the next game and or did my decision actually matter because we're going to decide it's not canon. Like you can't just make a big decision like that and expect to like move forward properly. And my joke as to why Gears E-Day exists is they couldn't figure out the answer to that, so they just went backwards instead.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because like I mean, if you have a 50-50 shot, right, as to who you pick to die, as a company, how do you continue that story if like what do you say is the canon answer? Then like anybody who picked the wrong one, like, oh, you didn't play the right game because you picked the wrong fucking one. The new game says that this was the correct path.
Exactly.
Like that's okay.
And so Rod Ferguson, who was in charge of the coalition at the time, was like, oh, we wanted to give the players agency to decide how the story was going to go for them, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and so we wanted them to be able to choose which character should live and which character should die, except like right after the game came out and all that happened, then they're like, oh, by the way, canonically, JD lives and Dell dies, and that's just it. Like, if you chose the other thing, oh well. But in my opinion, they were desperately grasping for the kind of impact that Gears 3 had when Dom died, right? But they were never going to get that impact because the players weren't allowed to choose which character died in Gears 3, right? They were pinned down. There was no way to escape. The locusts were surrounding them. They had nothing. And then Dom shows back up because he was able to successfully secure the fuel truck they were after. And he heroically sacrifices himself to take out a bunch of the locusts and let his squad survive. And the devastation that those characters felt when Dom sacrificed himself was palpable, right? Like, if you had been playing the game from the beginning and following along with Delta Squad, when Dom sacrificed himself, like, you felt it. And I think that the Coalition was desperately trying to have that kind of moment, but they didn't think about it, right? They're like, oh, well, we're going to let the players choose who do you want to live and who do you want to die, but then it robs the narrative of the impact of the death, especially for people like Victor, who like, I can't stand JD. He's kind of turned into an asshole. I'm gonna choose him to die. And so then they're all like, nah, sorry about that. Like Dell's the one that's actually going to be dead, even if you picked it the other way.
So I mean that you could kind of run through the same aspect of in the movie world, right? Where it's like, do we need everything to intertwine? Can't we just have this is the story of this game, and that does it need to hold over? And I can understand some properties would, right? And when these guys are making these games, they need to think of that. Like, do we need this story that we're telling to be a story that's run to another game or continue the story for another game? Because if that's the case, you can't give people those types of questions or those options, right? But if each Gears game was just its own story that it had nothing to do with previous, you could get away with something like that because it wouldn't matter at that point. But if you're going to sit there and try and make it each story's canon to the previous, you can't give people a 50-50 fucking option.
Yeah.
Unless when you start the next game, you can click which option you made, and then you did that version of the game.
Or you like do some sorcery with like the save file. I think games have done that before.
Yeah, where like your save file from the previous game, when you turn on the other game, you get your level or your weapons you had from the previous game. Like,
well, didn't Mass Effect do that? I didn't play the Mass Effect games, but didn't choices you made in the first game impact what you could do in the second game?
Mass Effect.
I haven't either.
The fuck alien.
I don't know. I never played the game. I've never played the game.
Victor,
I haven't played the Mass Effect games either.
Oh, okay. I feel like Mass Effect's the game where everybody like, because you have like options, and I'm pretty sure that was like the game where people kept trying to fuck the alien.
That's probably not wrong. And if it is, there's the PC version, so you can put it in there anyway. But like, the main point is a game that none of us clearly know much about. We know enough to make the point, right? Where your choices did matter and would carry over from game to game. Like, they would have had to do something like that for this. But I also agree with John's stance of just, it cheapens the choice with the way they were looking to go with it. But again, they couldn't even figure it out. So we got a prequel game instead.
Yeah, because Gears 6 was supposed to be just a couple of years away. Gears 5 launched in 2019. So it's been 7 years since Gears 5. And we have not gotten the end of that trilogy. And instead, we're revisiting a time period before. And I think it was because, and this is the point that I wanted to get to leading up to discussion for E-Day, I really kind of feel like Gears 5 shit the bed in all aspects. The multiplayer wasn't good. The story narratively had tons of problems. And since Gears 2, one of the modes that people loved about the Gears games most was Horde mode. And some people will say Gears of War 3 had the best Horde mode. Some people, purists, will probably say, oh, well, Gears 2 Horde mode was the best. It was very bare bones. It was either you or them, and you had to figure out how to survive. You didn't have fortifications. You have all this other stuff. Personally, I think that Gears of War Horde mode was perfected in Gears 4. But what most people will agree on is that Horde mode in Gears 5 was absolutely fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. They made it overly complicated, right? They tried to do a class system that was working in Gears 4. Then they wanted to revamp it for Gears 5, except, now there's going to be tons of microtransactions for what you do, right? So in addition to the skins and the themes and all the other stuff for the characters and the weapons, now there's going to be microtransactions for your frickin' your class in Horde mode, and you'd like to unlock all this stuff from playing, but unfortunately, if you really want the classes to function the way that they're supposed to, you're going to have to pay us for those upgrades and for those things. And to give you an idea, and I know that Chris doesn't care, but everybody, watching or listening, to give you an idea of Horde mode, even Gears 2, which was incredibly bare bones. You just had 50 waves in a row. The enemies came. Occasionally there would be a weapon dropped by an enemy that you wanted. You would have ammo crates that you could get as you were wiping out the waves, but that was pretty much it. We played, I would say that Victor and I and our friend group probably put easily, what would you say, Victor, 700 hours, 1,000 hours into Horde mode on Gears 2?
I mean, I don't know if I go that far. I was going to put it around like 100 to 200, but...
No, I would say way more than that.
Probably somewhere in the middle is the correct answer.
I played Breath of the Wild for 290 hours. I know I played more Gears of War than that, especially in Horde mode.
Fair statement.
So, and then in Gears 3, when they first added in fortifications, right? You got a boss wave every 10 waves. And it was fun. The maps were fun. Gears 4, you had boss waves. The maps were a little bit bigger. You had classes. And then Gears 5 was like, hey, yeah, guess what? We're going to do even better. And they did nothing better. Not a single thing in that game was better than anything that came before it.
I just want to put out there, we have the game we skipped over, Judgment, to thank for the class system at all.
Yes.
But it's actually probably the only good thing that game did to begin with. But it technically gets the credit for the class system that we saw perfected in 4.
I mean, we also have to mention that Gears Judgment was made by People Can Fly, the same studio that did Bulletstorm for Epic Games, because...
And that's why it sucked.
I mean, I can't say Gears Judgment sucked because I didn't play it. I've heard very good things about it.
First of all, whoa, time the fuck out. You not playing, not watching, not doing something with anything has never stopped you from saying something sucks.
I mean, it has. It has.
It has not. Ever.
I didn't say 7,000, Joe. I said 1,000 hours into Gears of War 2 Horde mode. And it wasn't all in a row, goddammit.
No say and no jump. You can't even fucking jump in this game. I couldn't even get
So
past
again,
run.
Chris, right? Your exact hatred point. You can jump in E-Day,
I don't give a fuck. Hold on. I was
which
mad
feels
if I
strange
couldn't
for
run.
Gears, but you can jump.
Like, I never even got past enough to find out I couldn't jump in the fucking game. What the fuck?
It's
Jesus
not a
Christ.
platforming game. You don't need to jump.
But why the
So-
I jump all the time in Borderlands? What's wrong with that? I jump.
I mean, there's not a single spot in Gears of War where I thought to myself, God damn it, I need to jump.
Hey, when shit be shooting at me, I'd be jumping out the way.
Which actually is a perfect segue into E-Day if we want to start talking about that, which I don't know, maybe you want to start, John, because you like haven't you would have to base it off the previews because
So-
I've actually spent a couple of hours with the open beta.
So, okay, before we go into that, like that's where we're going with it. The name of the episode is Do People Actually Want a New Gears of War? Okay. And obviously, huh?
I was going to answer that question, but go ahead.
Well, I know you do. But the question that I have with it is there really that much of a draw? Because I'm not in the games, but I am obviously on Facebook, I'm on the internet, in groups and everything. And even the fifth one never even knew that was a thing. Like, Gears does not come up in conversation of people saying, "Oh, where's the new? Oh, we need Gears." Like, it's not a license that is at the forefront of people's conversation when it comes to games that I've seen. Now, obviously, you guys might be in Gears groups or different types of groups, but for like somebody who's on the outside, when there's like that big game that people want, you hear about it, right? Like I could probably go to like a cemetery with a Ouija board, and those people will have heard about GTA 6, right? Because it's the fucking game that people fucking want. Gears, nothing.
Yeah,
on,
but
for the people on the outside who aren't in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
This is why I had to give the context earlier with the first three versus the others, right? Because again, that was peak Gears. And at
I
that
agree
point,
because people talked about it. Even like you could be like hanging out with like we'd be at Boomers, right? People would be talking about it. Like it was a thing. Absolutely. There was merchandise. There was all kinds of shit for it.
right. So to make the point that I'm making, right? Like there was a point in time, and obviously it was the 360 era because Halo started in the original Xbox.
Right.
But Gears was like, and obviously there was Halos on that too, but like Gears was like as important as Halo at the time.
yes.
That's fair.
Specifically during those times.
But even to now, right?
So
So Halo being Halo, its name is bigger than Gears, right? Because you can find people who have heard of Halo, never played it, but they've heard the name Halo. That's a video game. Like, they'll know the concept. Gears of War, they've probably never heard of. Like, it's still, even though it was very big at the time, it wasn't like, it never got to those levels to where grandma might have heard of it on the news. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I think at least to some extent I could agree with that. I just do think it's interesting what like they can stand alongside each other because at least at one point they were pretty like comparable.
yeah.
But even the similar dynamics with the studios happened with those games where they shifted over to an entirely different studio conveniently at the fourth game.
okay.
Which I guess technically isn't true with Gears, but John said Judgment doesn't count, so I'm going to use it to make my point.
I didn't say
It's just one of those things that, like, I mean, there's so many different ways you could look at it for my mindset of it, and the size and the popularity, whatever of it. Because you can look at, there's some great games. I'm not a fan of it, but Psycho loves Metroid, right? And there's probably arguments that people can make depending on the style of game you like. you'll find people who say that Metroid's a better video game than Mario Brothers because maybe it's the style of game they prefer versus what Mario Brothers offers. But everybody knows what a Mario Brothers is, right? Like it's like great game, but it never got Mario Brothers level of recognition of popularity. Or same thing in the music world. People know what a Lil Wayne is, but everybody knows what an Eminem is. Even if you don't listen to rap, you know what that name because it's such a fucking huge name.
But
again, I think that's an interesting point. However, what I would say is using that same example and to make the same point, really, you would have to. It'd be more like comparing Mario and Zelda, right? Because that's what those games were at the time. I actually think
Mario has the mass appeal, while Zelda had the fan appeal and like a finer group that really loved it, though. And it did get very big and popular, but Mario had the mass market.
Yes.
Yeah, and again, I think there's nothing wrong with the point that you're making, other than I think it's unfair to hold a game up to a game like GTA or Mario because in the pantheon of video games that have existed since home consoles have existed, how many games have become so fully ingrained in the cultural zeitgeist that they have reached Mario Brothers or Grand Theft Auto, right? Like,
I mean, there's one behind Victor right now.
What?
There's one behind Victor right now. The blue guy that runs fast. He reached it.
Yeah, so I would argue that Sonic is not at the same level as GTA or Mario. I'm not saying Sonic's not great. He is. What I'm saying is culturally, it's not the same. You have maybe a couple of games that reach that level where it is a definition. What Victor was saying about the Xbox 360 and the first Gears of War trilogy, during that time period, people that played video games, they knew what Gears of War was. And then you had that break between Gears 3, when the trilogy was over, the story was wrapped up, it was done. And then you had Gears Judgment in 2013, but then it wasn't going to focus on Marcus. Dom, of course, was dead, and it was just going to have that. I think Judgment was just a game with Cole and Baird, right? Like, it was their squad before they joined Marcus and Dom. And then you didn't get another Gears game until 2016.
Okay.
When you got Gears 4.
But my question still it remains of is there, I mean, obviously there's going to be some people, but is there a mass want for a new Gears game? Was that like a thing that people were just clamoring for a new Gears game?
So
no.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the short answer. No, because it basically fell off.
Because obviously, diehard fans would be like, "Oh, I want a new Gear." Like, he'd love a new Gear, but like the masses, like, if that's not a thing, so like.
But the masses aren't clamoring for new games, right? Like GTA, yes, people go crazy for a Mario game, but then you have your group of fans that want a Zelda game. You have your group of fans that want a Mega Man game, right? Like, we haven't had a Mega Man game in a very long time, and people want one, but it's not like this cultural movement to get a Mega Man game.
Do they?
They do.
Okay.
They do, right? It's the same thing with Zelda. I would absolutely love a brand new Zelda game. Not everybody gives a shit. We got a Metroid Prime 4, which I was super excited for, and I enjoy, but the majority of people were like, eh. Right? Like, and that's why measuring a game worthiness to exist based upon how many people want it, I think is faulty, right?
I think it's faulty, but if the people aren't wanting it, the studios could use the time to go more in a direction of something that is wanted something new, something something to try a different way,
Sure.
right?
But
Versus like,
so
oh, we're just gonna make another Gears. You know, we'll sell some, people will buy it, but like instead of doing something else that can become the next big fucking thing.
I mean, we'll take a game franchise you enjoy, right? Like, how many people were clamoring for Borderlands 2?
I don't nobody. It was and I like
Right?
you like to try and like, oh, but this is you're like, bro,
No,
fuck the game.
I'm not turning anything around. What I'm saying is Borderlands 1 was a huge success for 2K.
Right.
Right? Like they were not expecting it. They were just like, "Oh, this might be interesting. We'll make it." They didn't put a budget behind it.
And then people wanted a second one because of how good the first one was.
Yeah. And then
Absolutely.
the second one was not as good.
That is not true at all.
And not true at all, but Psycho hasn't finished
nowhere near. No way. Did we like forget history there? Like, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't think that Borderlands 2 was as good as Borderlands 1.
That's fine. You haven't fully played it.
If literally for no other reason than Handsome Jack.
So
sure,
here's where I think if we're going to get into this side of the topic, Borderlands 2, it's not that it wasn't as good. I feel it was a better game, but it fell victim to what a lot of other games have fallen victim to and movies have fallen victim to, where the first one comes out, it's such a new experience, right? This is fucking amazing. Then the second one comes out, it's a lot of the same. It's not as special anymore because it's been done and now it's a continuation, right? I did prefer Borderlands 2 over Borderlands 1. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But Psycho doesn't, and he hasn't finished it. I kept trying to get him to play and finish it, but he was busy with life, and he never finished it with me.
But then you get Borderlands 3, which, I mean, and I don't think Victor will disagree, but I think I remember Victor telling me Borderlands 3 just was not good.
Yeah, 3 was fucking dog shit.
And I haven't played that one. And then I did the pre-sequel I'm playing now.
Now you have Borderlands 4.
That nobody asked for.
But it's like, I don't know whether or not that game's any good. In fact, I don't know anybody that has the game that's played it. So but there's already talk about Borderlands 5.
So the way I look at it like this, when you look at that game, there's got to be something, right? There's got to be some type of drive or I don't know what message board they're looking at, right? I never played the third one, but I've heard bad things. I will play it eventually and form my own opinion because I'm very much against just basing my opinion off of what I read or heard other people say, right? So I will play it and see where it goes. But after even the first one, played some of the second one originally, and I finished the second one recently. I never wanted I need a third or fourth, right? Which is fine. But the difference with Borderlands versus what you're saying for Gears is that with Borderlands, there's somebody somewhere who sees that somebody's asking for it, even though the fucking movie sucked. They had some type of evidence to prove to a studio to put millions of dollars into a movie. Like there's something there like that. I don't know what it is because I've not witnessed to it, but there was something that got a movie studio to be like, yeah, you know what? We see the potential here on a return on our investment. Let's do it. And fuck, that movie was bad. Like,
never watched it.
Like it has its moments, but it's not good.
So I do want to point out two separate things that were said in chat, especially with GTA mentioned a couple times now. The question was, isn't Gears what Xbox wanted to complete or to compete with GTA and failed? Which I don't recall that at any point in time, but if that was a thing, they failed at trying to make a comparison because the games aren't even the same type of games. So moving on from that, Gears of War is widely considered a major Hail Mary success for Xbox during a critical time when the Xbox 360 needed massive defining blockbuster hits to establish itself against early PS3, which I would say that's no contest really, but that's not untrue. Like that's That's how big Gears was then.
And it worked.
And I would say, like, in current time, for like the potential demand, what you also have to consider is like current Xbox. In a lot of people's eyes, they flopped specifically the last Halo. Like Infinite was not it, as they say, right? There are other Xbox exclusives that I'm struggling to think of at the moment, but they haven't done too hot.
No.
We got a whole lot of stuff on the Xbox that nobody fucking asked for. So now, you know, with there being no demand for Gears, right? Shit, what do? How do we get people to pay attention again? Oh shit. Remember that franchise that used to be a big deal? That you know, let's do that. Let's go back to that. And we don't even know what to do with Gear 6, so let's go backwards. And we also don't know how to make Xbox an exclusive, like only care about the Xbox. So we're going to remove the PS5 version to get people to care specifically about the Xbox.
And you see those similar things happen in like all entertainment industries, right? Like that's why we have so many goddamn remakes of movies, and they're usually shit. You're like, oh, we got no ideas. Oh, let's just remake this. Remember that franchise we bought? But nobody asked for this game. I mean, I hope you guys enjoy the hell out of it. I hope it's great for you guys, because or are you not going to buy it, John?
No, I'm going to get Gears of War E-Day. Yeah.
All right, so I hope you guys have a lot of fun with this thing, but it's not wanted.
I mean, again,
I don't think the point is untrue, right? But what I can say is when it dropped, people loved it. People were excited. People were excited, like the glory days for this game. I feel that's the impact it had.
Yes, I will say that the initial trailer, I thought my reaction to it was, damn, that looks good. And then, because at first you just see a young Marcus and you're like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, okay, wow, that looks good. It's going to be a young Marcus. And then we didn't know anything else other than Dom shows up and helps him at the end. And then we got another trailer. They're like, all right, well, this game, like, it definitely looks cool. It's going to be taking place during Emergence Day. And okay, that's very cool. But people were also like, yeah, it looks good, but look at how badly they fucked up Gears 5. And then, a week ago now, they dropped this hands-on, so they actually showed gameplay of both multiplayer and Horde mode, and then the new Horde mode, which is Horde Siege, and people were like, holy shit, that looks great. And then, later that same day, or the day after, IGN dropped hands-on video and impressions of playing the new multiplayer and the new Horde Siege mode. And they're like, listen, the person that was reviewing it was like, I played the original Gears games. I played Gears 4. I played Gears 5. And like, here are the good things of those games. And here's how they started going bad. And here's everything that this new game is doing, right? Here's how they're fixing all those problems. And people started to get hyped about it, because it sounds like they're going the direction they should be going. And one of the biggest things was like, there are no microtransactions in this game. You're not paying for things. You're not paying for battle passes. You're not paying to essentially pay to win, right? You're not unlocking things early because you're paying for it. Everything that you have in this game, you're going to have to earn through playing the game. And so that was a huge thing, because it was the microtransactions that really killed the Gears 5 multiplayer experience and Horde experience.
I just want to put out there, all that shit was also in 4. It wasn't as key to the gameplay as you're saying with 5.
Yeah.
But that was definitely started in 4.
Yes, but like, it wasn't to the extent of 5.
That's but like, you're sitting, I agreed with you.
Yeah.
But you're sitting here and you're saying like, oh, everybody's excited about it. And, you know, because of these features and what they're saying in the videos and everything. But again, like I said, I didn't even know it was a thing until you told me you wanted to do this fucking episode 2 days ago.
Yeah, but you also don't pay attention to games. You don't care. You don't game.
Yeah, but that was my point from earlier, that I don't pay attention, but it comes across my feed, right? Like I see the information. Like I don't give a shit about Star Wars, but I know a lot of fucking information about Star Wars because it comes across my feed because I'm in the nerd world, right? I'm in that community. So like the shit I don't give a fuck about. I know a lot about because I see it still. It comes across. I'm still witness to the things, right? That's what I'm saying. It was just weird because this one I had no idea it was even a thing at all. I didn't know 5 was a thing, and then this one I didn't even know that it was happening until you mentioned it the other night to do this episode. So, like I said, I'm not in all the game groups you guys are probably in, like obviously, but it's just one of those weird things that I have not seen a goddamn thing about this game at all across anything.
I mean, all I can say about that is maybe it has something to do with the algorithm. I don't know, but I can say 4.3 million people watched the trailer, right? So like clearly there are some people that are definitely interested in what's happening now. So I don't know why you're not seeing it, but I have seen it, and it's not from Gears of War groups because I'm not in any groups that are specifically Gears of War. I don't even think I'm in an Xbox group. It's just
Yeah, but you also like follow like IGN and all that, right?
I do.
So that would make
Mhm.
sense. But like I said, it's just one of those weird things like between Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, like all these things where I get all kinds of video game things come across my feed all the time. And this has been silent. It could be the algorithm, absolutely. I'm not saying like I didn't know about this game fucking like I'm just saying it's like it hasn't reached that
Yeah,
like I haven't seen shit.
and I definitely agreed with you on when the game was first announced. I'm like, okay, looks cool, but I didn't give a shit, right? And what's interesting is when I watched the multiplayer hands-on that Microsoft put up, I immediately text Victor when I was done, and I'm like, that actually looks incredibly bad. Like the trailer looked good, but all the stuff they're showing, like this looks great. And as I'm texting Victor, I get a text from Harity. Holy shit! Did you see the Gears of War thing? Like, I'm actually excited about this game. It's the first time since Gears 3 I actually am excited for a game. Jose was the same thing. Like, so people that played the original Gears games, this is kind of on their radar. When they saw it, a lot of them were reacting the same way. Like, I was excited every time a new Gears came out after the first one, Gears 2, Gears 3. And then a lot of people like, okay, well, the trilogy wrapped up so beautifully. Why do we need a Gears 4? And that's kind of what Gears 4 was fighting against. But from Gears 4 to Gears 5, people's excitement like really dropped. And even when these trailers came out, cool, looks good. All right, you have Marcus and Dom, that's cool, but who cares? And then they dropped this multiplayer shit, and then people were like, oh my God. So I don't know. Do people want it? Not as many people that want GTA, but we also weren't waiting 13 years for Gears E Day either.
I also think that the downfall, we disagree slightly as someone who also enjoyed Gears 4. The DBs and all the shit going on in 4, it's just not as impactful as the glory days. It's just not. Like people, I would say people's interest started steadily declining from that point.
I can agree.
Right? And that could be like I have a theory that I've been trying to flush out in different ways, but I think it pertains to video games across like, again all entertainment. I feel like even with movies, you get to a third, it kind of peaks, and then anything after that is like it's just too much, and people lose interest because now they're moved on to something else. Because all right, we've got it 3 different times, we've done it, and now their attention goes elsewhere. Like they just get too much. Saying that I think that's what's happening with a lot of Marvel stuff when they start getting too many movies, or like oh, and now people are like moving on. Same thing with TV shows. Too many versions of a TV show. People are now losing interest. Too many seasons, losing interest. Like, I think it just kind of happens.
But you got to find a way, like, and I'm not saying you're wrong because you do see that. Like, that's definitely a thing. But then there's anomalies, right? So you have like Live Free, Die Hard. That was a great movie. The 4th one was fantastic. The 5th one shit the bed. Surprise, surprise, right? The 5th one shit the bed.
But you do it. There is a difference there, right? And I think video games, it's less because of how long you play them and how long you can get out of a game versus the amount of time between Die Hard 3 and Die Hard 4. I
12
feel like
years.
that's enough time for the interest to be lost and then people to get peaked again because it's been so long, right?
But
Like,
then you have Spider-Man Brand New Day, right? Which we're not going to spoil, but No Way Home was the biggest Spider-Man movie to date. And then Brand New Day is like, hey, wait a second, let me show you how this is actually done. And
yeah,
it's only been 5 years between No Way Home and Brand New Day. And if you count the release a year later of the extended edition of No Way Home, it was only 4 years between
no,
the film.
there's the exceptions to the rule, right? There's exceptions that make the rule, right? But it's just like I said, it's just something I've noticed. All the things, horror movies, everything I watch. Like once you get the third one, it always seems like the things just start plateauing and then going downhill of interest. Like people kind of get burnt out on it.
Yeah, it's like you said, as we said a couple times, there are anomalies where sometimes the fourth or even sixth entry are better than like the first or second. And that's my excuse to toss Mega Man into this and bring that up again. Moving on.
Here I thought you were going to bring up Final Fantasy VI, but okay.
That too would apply, except that would probably be much more serious than that point.
Yeah.
But do you have anything else that you want to weigh in on for like E-Day?
Are you asking Chris or me?
I'm asking you because, like I said before, like you kind of have to base this off of everything that was seen because I did spend a couple hours with the game.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that I didn't think that the beta actually started until tomorrow, so I didn't even know you could play it.
I thought you had to pre-order the shit to play the beta. I didn't know there was an open beta. I found out literally yesterday.
Yeah, so I didn't know until you told me, and I thought it started Friday night, but apparently it did not start Friday night. So
Slacker.
Yeah, I mean that's what going to work will do to you, I guess. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm excited for E-Day, and I think that there are a significant amount of people who are excited. But
early access weeks were before the school year started. Just saying.
What is this?
The early access weeks were before the school year started.
Like, if you don't like it,
When were the early access weeks?
Before school started. God damn it! Did you not listen to him?
Well, no, but when did it start?
I mean, you said you only started work recently, right?
I started on Friday of last week.
Let's find out, shall we?
Yeah, because I didn't, like I said, I didn't even know. I thought the beta started Friday.
Right. So silence is horrible for shows.
Yes.
Which is interesting, Psycho, for somebody then at this same thing, for you who is paying attention to this franchise and the news and the announcements.
Yeah, no, so I have the answer right
Somehow
here.
that got by. Victor didn't know till yesterday, right? Like
the early access beta started today and goes until August 10th, and the open beta starts August 13th and goes to August 17th. So you get early access if you have if you've pre-ordered the game, or if you have Game Pass Ultimate or are a Game Pass PC member. And then the open public beta is available to everyone, whether or not they have pre-ordered the game or have Game Pass Ultimate.
Ah, okay.
So the actual beta started today.
So like I said, like, it's just interesting that this information, like, it still missed you guys, right? Which just kind of, it's interesting to me. That
excellent point.
Looking for it,
but the kind of asterisk there is like, yeah, we found out around the same time, but evidently you don't. Where I was incorrect is that I thought the pre-order would give you like an earlier access, and what it actually is like the dates. I thought it was entirely the open beta, Evidently, this week is early access alongside subscription, which of course tie it to something that you pay money. You get the week early, and then it's the full public the following week. Yeah. So that's a misread from me. But even finding out at all still makes your point of like beta for a game you're excited about late to the party.
Yeah. And it's not saying anything against anybody. It's just interesting. Like, it's just, whether it be the algorithm, whatever, but even the people who would be looking for that information, who would love to know that information, somehow miss that too.
Well, I mean, it probably has something to do with the fact that I haven't really been on my Xbox this week, and nor have I been on my computer very much.
Okay. Whatever it is.
I haven't checked my email. I was going to check my email today, but when I opened it, it was like 1,200 emails. I'm like, nah, I'll come back to this later.
You have a goddamn like mini computer in your pocket and you don't know how to use it for stuff. It's amazing.
No, listen.
It's amazing.
When I open my email and it says like almost 1,200, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to put it off and deal with it later.
It's not like you got 1,200 emails yesterday, right?
No, I don't check my email all the time.
You know what I'm saying, but you have 1,200 emails from the life of your email account, maybe 1,200 unread, right? So like an email that came out within the past couple of days, it would be right there at the top. You would have been notified you got an email. You swipe down, you see your notifications. You swipe to the left, get rid of that bitch, whatever.
Sure.
You say sure, but I feel like your old ass does not understand how email on phones works.
I'm sure that's how normal people do things, right? And when I open my email and I check it regularly during the school year, I open it and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I might have 50, 60 in a day, and those are easily managed. But during summer, I tend not to look at my email for whatever reason. And then when I do go to look at it, there's hundreds there and I don't want to deal with it. So I just put it off to another day. I'm like, yeah, I'll look at this when I have time. And then the next time I look at it, it's like doubled in amount. So that's how that goes.
See, so Chris, you're stupid because no, you weren't able to find like Xbox news. You definitely should have found by any means possible on various social media. And John, you're dumb because you don't know how to check your fucking email. Apparently,
listen,
that's what I heard. I see the goddamn notification. Oh, look, Gears of War beta. Interesting. Okay, done. Like, no, he's just like, fuck you. I don't want to hear shit. What's this paperweight? Oh, fuck that thing. I don't know how to use this. Oh, but I think I'm cool and I'm better than everybody else because I got the iPhone, but I don't fucking use it to any of its capabilities. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Isn't iPhone supposed to make things easier for people?
Of that.
But that's how you act. I've known you for a long time. You very much act like that.
No, I didn't say any of that.
Still.
I mean, do I think that Android phones suck? I do, but I don't say it.
Yeah, it must suck to actually have options outside of the system that you're forced to use, man.
But it doesn't matter because John has the iPhone and doesn't even fucking use it to his potential anyways.
There you go.
Hence my point earlier about
like
what I just made.
Like John literally, you could give him a flip phone and he'd have no difference in his usage. You're like, oh, yeah, flip phone. Okay, cool.
But it's perfect. iPhones are supposed to make shit easier for you.
Supposed to. Like he spends thousands to buy an iPhone, and like I said, he thinks he's like top tier person because he's got the iPhone. He thinks he's better than Android users, but then doesn't use the fucking thing to any of the potential of what it has, even though Android has more potential than it. But he doesn't use it to any of that shit. At all.
I mean, the only reason I started buying iPhones was because I had iTunes and a ton of music in there, and I just wanted to keep it like that. So, and then once you're on the iPhone, you just stay. That's just how it is.
So you're saying that the iPhone is like herpes? Like once you got it, you don't get rid of it?
I've never had an experience with herpes, so I couldn't tell you. But I mean, if you have, and you can make that comparison.
Yeah, no, I'm just not stupid. I went to health class. But okay.
to John's credit, and I am the furthest thing from an ice sheep. To John's credit, iTunes sorting versus other various sorting And let's compare it to direct comparison at the time, because a certain somebody tried to be like, oh my God, the Microsoft Zune is so great. No, that shit fucked up my library. I returned that shit the next day. But so like iTunes is great. The iPod was great.
It was.
The iPad
Marlon loves
is
his
great
Zune.
if you don't actually want to parent your kids. The iPad, not iPad, iMac, iBook Nano, I think it is an Apple product that, hey, let's actually make something that's affordable and budget friendly. But that's like the end of the list. Otherwise, you're just a nice sheep and paying for,
Yeah, no.
stuff.
The only
Too much for mediocre
thing
stuff.
I have at all would have been iTunes. I had an iPod for a while until it finally died. I love that thing, but iTunes is it. I love my iTunes. I still use it to this day for sorting, naming, tagging, making
Because
ringtones.
it's great for that.
Yeah.
Best thing they've done. Hands down.
I wonder if you could still find the Gears of War Zune. I wonder if anybody even still has one of those things.
I can
So
guarantee
the person I referenced has one.
I thought he got rid of all of his Zune stuff.
No, he still has that shit.
Oh, I remember he was saying he was getting rid of all of that. All right.
Nah, he still got that. I could almost guarantee it. Like, it obviously moved wherever now, but like, pretty damn sure he still has that.
Yeah, I don't know, but no, I don't care about people's phones, and I don't care about the iPhone capabilities or whatever. Like I said, I bought an iPhone because I had iTunes and I already had music and stuff on there, and some of it I paid for, and a lot of it I got illegally through downloads. And so when it was time to get a phone, I just did the easiest thing.
What John meant to say is that he got it totally legally, and if he didn't, he found like other ways that are perfectly legal to get his music.
Here, you can go on eBay right now and buy yourself your Gears of War Zune for $200. Okay.
I mean, I'm not buying one. I was just curious.
That's it, really? I thought it'd be higher than that.
Yeah, no, there's a Left 4 Dead one that's $800. So that game's better than Gears of War, apparently.
That's craziness. Or maybe that's just because Valve still can't count to 3. Who knows?
But I mean, I don't know. As far as my technology savviness is concerned, there is not much of it.
Yeah, no, there is no savviness at all.
And then, like I said, over the summer, I don't like answering emails because every day that I'm at work, I have hundreds of emails I have to answer. So when I get home, and it comes to personal email, I just do it so I don't have to worry too much about it. But over the summer, I'm not looking at that shit. So then it starts to add up. And then I'm like, God, it's going to take me forever to go through these things.
Fuck your email system that you don't look at because you're old.
You're old too.
But I know how to be young, apparently, and use technology.
I know how to use the technology. I just said use it. I said I don't.
Here's my chisel. Here's my hammer. Smoke signals back there and talk to my friends. Fuck out of here. So, Gears of War. Is there anything else with this shit that's coming out that you want to discuss?
Victor needs to talk about his experience with the beta.
That you can still run like a dumbass, and you can jump now, so that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, you have actual movement. I'm not going to spend too much more time on that. But so the beta gives you access to multiplayer aspects of the game, which is interesting for this one because, like, I had certain reservations I might still do. I have only spent so much time with it, so my knowledge is limited, but technically more than Psycho because he hasn't played it yet. So with the multiplayer, you have your normal versus mode, right?
Yep.
But I haven't touched that. To my knowledge, it's still Nashers of War, so that hasn't changed even with the extra movement. But honestly, I wasn't expecting that. And if you've been playing Gears all this time, as silly as it is, you probably shouldn't have expected it either. But the point is, it also comes with the Horde mode, which for this is Horde Siege, which is effectively what Horde mode is now.
Yep.
and I have my reservations with it. I'm not sure which is entirely accurate. But for the time that I did spend with it, right? The siege mode, and I'll say the same thing I said to you offline. I think siege, it's cool for Gears. It still tries to keep the squad gameplay because ultimately it is a Gears game. So you have 3 different squads in like effectively 3 different places of the map. And sometimes you might meet up in between your waves of doing stuff.
Yep.
So you can like help out other parties, which is cool. But that goes more along the lines of, say, like a Call of Duty Warzone, or maybe the better comparable thing would be nowadays like what's the game that I told you that I can't remember the damn name of now? What was it? It's like Starship Troopers, except not.
Helldivers.
Helldivers, that's the game. Yeah, Helldivers. So they're trying to do something more like that. So it bothers me personally because the maps would be that much bigger. But because it's Gears and you have that cooperative aspect, it's kind of cool. It also makes things quite chaotic, which is a segue into kind of where my reservations were with like traditional Horde. Because they spent so little time in the previews talking about traditional Horde, like, hey, we have it.
Yeah.
So I played it, and it's exactly as they said for the little bit that they did, that it's only 10 waves. And unless they add something in, that's probably just how it is now. It's bad because I was raising my hand during that point where you mentioned purist. I'm one of those guys. I like my 50 waves, straightforward, whatever. Apparently, we're not getting that in this game unless it comes in the final release.
Well, remember, they did say that you would have Horde Siege and that you would have classic Horde. That's 50 waves.
Right. What I'm saying is there is Horde within Horde Siege because it's one of the things you can pick. Right. There's 4 things you can pick. They make you do a starter thing, and then there's 3 other ones.
Yes.
I skipped the middle 2 and I went straight to Horde.
Yeah.
Right. Because again, I only had so much time to play. So I went straight to Horde, and that, as it stands, was only 10 waves. Now, be that as it may, because of the extra movement in the game, it gets chaotic pretty quickly. So on one hand, there's less waves to do. On the other, it's that much more exciting / engaging because for the exact things Chris was, making fun of, you can now jump, right? That applies to the enemies too.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. When you have something like a boomer that now suddenly can jump on shit and menacingly be over you with a boom shot, and the boom sound that we're all familiar with, I swear it became more bassy, so therefore more menacing, right? Oh shit. I'm gonna get fucked up, right? Like in a way that in a whole dimension that we've never experienced before, because you were not able to do what in most games is pretty basic movement and in Gears can be seen as stiff. Yes. But it's no longer that. And it applies to both your character and also the enemies. But specifically for the enemies, that completely changes the experience of like simple shit that might not seem that big of a deal, or I know exactly what to do. There's a whole other dimension you have to account for now.
Interesting.
So from that aspect, it's pretty interesting. Like I'm looking forward to spending more rounds with that. It looks like you kind of get lives in a sense, and if everyone goes out, you use a life, and you have a limited amount of lives. And I don't know, if it's just because of all the chaos that's happening, or I'm just fucking terrible. So feel free to claim skill issue in chat. But I decided to go on normal mode for that one, and I got my fucking shit wrecked. In fairness, so did everybody else. But like, it's pretty chaotic now.
I'm gonna let that one go.
It's pretty chaotic in a way we've never seen in a Gears game before, and in that aspect, it's exciting to experience that.
Okay. So, John, does everything he say make you more excited for this game?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a whole new thing to have to learn. I'm excited for Horde Siege because I think it's interesting. It's been a while since I watched the video, but I know Horde Siege is 10 waves, but I thought they said that there are classic Horde options that you could do that would go up to wave 50. And I could be wrong. I don't know. I'd have to watch the video again. And quite frankly, I don't really give a shit. But we'll see how that goes.
Okay, fair. Okay, cool. As far as the general idea of what tonight was, and get together, talk about games and everything. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we do get out of here? Because I got to be up at 4 a.m. So, is there anything else? Start winding down.
No, you head to Ocala.
I'm going to Ocala tomorrow. Yeah.
Do we want to toss in the? Since
Victor,
there
you talk about tossing and getting your shit wrecked, man. What are we talking about right now?
Nobody raise your hand.
There was something else I mentioned to John, and we had two very different takes on this.
Okay.
In reference to the release of GTA, but it's along the lines of the rumor mill,
okay. Which is
so. And again, grain of salt, rumor mill. The word out there is that Nintendo gives no fucks. They are going to release the Ocarina of Time remake around the same time as GTA in direct competition with GTA.
That seems like a stupid battle to try and have.
Agreed. That's what I told Victor. Like that should not be a thing.
Like I respect Nintendo, but they're going to lose that war.
But this is where I differ, and it goes along the lines of something we were talking about earlier with like the impact of games, right? Ocarina of Time is one of the greatest games of all time from a review perspective and even like general gaming consensus. It's a juggernaut title that I think could be put in the same room as a GTA.
But so I guess my question with that, before we do wind down on all this, what would be the point of the war, right? Because like I can see, especially years ago, the console wars. Microsoft wants to beat Sony. Nintendo wanted to try and be in that war. Nintendo was never really in the war. They had their own fans and they made their sales, but I don't think they were ever really in that console war as real contenders against those two. Now, that's not taken away from Nintendo because Nintendo does their thing and they have great product. But when it comes to this, I don't see like what would be the point of trying to do like to go against them because they're not going to take away purchases from GTA. The same way, I don't think GTA is going to take away purchases of Zelda, right? I don't think they're going to battle each other to where it's like, oh, people didn't buy Zelda because they bought GTA or vice versa. Like, people are going to buy both games if they want both games. Like, I don't see what the real reason for that type of war would be because there's going to be no measurable outcome to say, oh, somebody actually won that war.
I just think it would be interesting to watch because, again, I do think it is one of few titles that can actually battle it out with GTA because like a lot of people are going to avoid that because GTA is a huge impact game. Now,
is GTA coming out for the fucking whatever the hell the Nintendo?
No.
I don't see how they're going to affect each other's numbers at all.
But selfishly, right? Because this came up during when we were talking about like the Sony stuff. Mm-hmm. Selfishly, this is where gamers can make a choice because it'll be a first-party Nintendo title. So it should, and Pokemon Pokepia, I guess, is the exception. They lied on that. But
what would be the choice?
Between physical and digital.
Okay.
Because GTA 6 will not be, at least to start, offered physical. It will only be digital.
So you're thinking it's going to be more of a not Zelda versus GTA. It's going to be more physical versus digital on two big games.
Yeah, so again, like I think it would be interesting to watch because they're both very high impact games. But selfishly, I would like to see people choose physical over digital. Because then you're just feeding that fire for them to continue
Right,
along
right.
the digital only path.
I guess maybe I'm looking at it differently because I guess I don't see how either one's going to affect the other one for sales, especially when you're doing like pre-orders and shit for them now. So it's not like, back in the day where there wasn't really a pre-order system. Two games came out on the same day and people went to the store. They had the money to buy one game, right? What are they buying? Who
Right.
wins this battle? Now, you people buying games a year in advance, the money's gone. They can buy the other game because it's going to be within, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see where the sales are really going to be affected like they would have been 15 years ago. I mean, very well could. I don't see how it's going to work because there's just so many things that people can just get both, and it's easily to get both.
Yeah, especially considering that the way that Rockstar is releasing GTA is kind of stupid as well. It's going to be an empty box that's just digital. And then you can't buy the whatever they call their $100 version, which essentially you need to get if you buy the physical box. So if anybody was going to the store to buy a game, they'd be going to the store to buy Zelda because it doesn't make any sense to go to the store to buy GTA because you can't even buy the fucking edition that lets you go into all the shops and all the stores. You have to buy that edition digitally on your console. But even then, I don't want Nintendo releasing Ocarina of Time on the same day that GTA 6 is released.
Well, that's just because you're going to be like, oh, which one do I play right now? Right? Like that's going to be your struggle. It's not going to be a struggle of which one do I buy. You'll be at the struggle of which one do I give my attention to right this second.
I mean, my struggle will be because Ocarina of Time is going to win that. But for me, because it's my favorite game of all time. But my struggle will be at that point, I don't think Ocarina of Time will be as well received because everybody's going to be comparing it to GTA. And GTA better be, after a 13-year development cycle, GTA better be the most beautiful, well-played, right, well-controlled game in the history of the world.
That'll at least be half true.
But you really think that people are going to be comparing them? Really?
I think the review outlets are going to say, I think the review outlets are going to say things like, oh, well, look at, this is how a current generation game is supposed to look. Here, Nintendo tried to take this game from 1998 and make it look modern, and it fails in comparison, right? I think that's the kind of feedback that media outlets are going to give, and I think that doing that to a game as important as Ocarina of Time is not something that Nintendo should be looking to do.
Okay. I mean, all that makes sense to me. I actually understand what John says. Okay, cool. It was about boring ass Zelda.
Fuck Jesus. You.
So, like I said at the beginning of the show, if we brought up Zelda, we're going to be spoiling Spider-Man. So, did you see?
Take these motherfuckers off.
All right, so I think let's bring this to an end. Just because, like I said, I have to be up early as shit and then drive 2 hours. Victor, is there anything that you wanted to plug for yourself yet?
Yes, my accidental chat input. My name on there, my latest venture is Bluefool Boosting, where I have both inspirational / slice of life content, I guess you could call it, but also specific gaming niche of Phantasy Star Online, where I'm spending most of my gaming time that isn't spent on current stuff, which is, as I've said on a couple of these episodes now, less and less due to, go back and check the older videos. Not going to waste time saying that here.
So you get them to go back. More clicks. I like it. Psycho, anything you need to say? And any last words from yourself, maybe?
I mean, I hope they're
Good,
not
great.
last.
Okay, so no. Fucking with you. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I got nothing to say, but whatever I would say, I would hope would not be my last words. Don't put that out in the universe, goddammit.
For this evening, Jesus Christ, you dark, morbid son of a bitch.
You were the one that said your last words.
Your last words for this evening. Holy crap. Jesus Christ. So next week we'll be doing drinks and toys. We potentially have a topic in advance that I'm waiting to confirm on, but we had I actually had a viewer kind of put out the idea of something he'd like to see, and kind of giving advice to new collectors, things to do, things to look out for, how to start, what to work with, just the things that we've learned over our 20 plus 30 years of collecting to help out the new guys from not ending themselves with the amount of stress they're about to get themselves into collecting. But then next week also for Collector's Hideout, I'm tired of waiting. I've been trying to be polite. Teased Victor with it this evening, but I'm tired of waiting for people to watch fucking Spider-Man. So next Thursday, we're talking fucking Brand New Day. Because I've got questions, things that internet has questions, things that maybe people saw differently, how they interpreted certain things from the movie. But next week, we're going to discuss that movie because it was a hell of a movie. So
we know Victor won't be tuning in.
I mean, I'll have seen it as of this Sunday. So
okay, all right.
So yeah, but just I feel like there's a lot there to discuss. A lot of things that were also left kind of open-ended to kind of left to interpretation until we get clarity in future movies or other movies or whatever the fuck they want to do. But I feel like there's a lot to discuss there because there's a lot of interesting things that happen in that movie. So that'll be next week on Collector's Hideout. That's what we're going to be going for. And then,
if this wasn't John's last words.
Well, he'll be on next week. I'm just going to have him muted so he won't be able to talk. He's going to be all facial expressions. That's going to be all. So, well, with that, then I appreciate everybody coming out. Those in the chat, watching, in the replay crew, whatever you guys want to do, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Check out Kid over on his thing. I already forgot the name of it. Blue Full Boosting. Yes. Check him out over there. And let your friends know that what we're doing here, man. We're trying to just get away from the real world and talk shit and have fun. So till next week, we will see you gentlemen later.
Absolutely.
Oh, shit. We got new messages right the fucking in. Oh, thanks, Joe.